Hello, everyone. This is Grandmaster Jesse Bowen. Welcome to another installment of our Martial Arts Masters and Authors Month. This month, we're featuring martial artists that have actually published books. And we're doing this as a part of our promotion of the upcoming event that's going to be coming up in June, on June the 26th, 27th in Las Vegas. We're going to be honoring Grandmaster Chuck Norris this year. So we're really planning for a really big celebration. The key that I want to talk about as we introduce our guests today is that everybody has a story. Everyone has a story, and everyone has a very valuable story. So that's what we're talking about, and encouraging people that are looking to publish, always thought about publishing. We have started a publishing company. It's called Elite Publications, and the website is elitepublications.org. So if you want some advice, some free help on getting started, what do you need to do, then, we want to help you. We feel that everyone has a story. Our books, the Martial Arts Masters and Pioneers biography book, is about helping people to tell their stories, to be able to share it in their community with their students and everyone. Today we have Amanda Olson, and she is with Olsen Martial Arts Academy in Johnson City, Tennessee. Hello, ma'am. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. I had the opportunity to meet you a few months ago. My granddaughter actually is a black belt at her school, and I went in to sort of not check them out, but to come in. I didn't announce myself or anything like that. I was there for my granddaughter to share her experience of becoming a black belt, and her dad is a black belt. So it's a family thing. Great family activity to do with your kids, and it was really great. And I was very impressed with your school and your program. Had over 300 students testing, and that's impressive. But you know what the most impressive thing was about your promotional exam? It was the environment. You have a very successful school, a very large school. We're going to talk about that just in a few moments. For the martial artists that want to know, how do I grow my school? How do I get to where I need to be? What are the tools that I need to know? What is the information that I need to have to make me successful, not only in the martial arts, any business or any endeavor that you want to be able to prosper from? But what I really noticed, and I like for you to accept this as a compliment, there was a lot of people testing. Every parent was happy.
That's good to hear.
Child was happy. And no, she didn't promote everybody. You actually had people to actually fail. And and that's good, because it brings that not everybody gets promoted. This is the curriculum. This is what you have to do. This is your opportunity. This is your day. Do what you know that you're supposed to do. But I was very impressed, with that. The organization, the management. A lot of times martial artists, they think if you have a successful large school, you have to give up something to be able to achieve that. You have to take away from the quality of the martial arts because you have a large program. But you guys are a family school. That was the other impressive thing. Your husband, he's a martial arts, instructor is there, your son, your daughter. So this is a family thing for you guys. I know I'm talking a lot about you right now and not giving you a chance, but I just wanted to say that as we come on. And again, not to build credibility to you, but not necessarily to you, but to build, an accomplishment to your whole family for what they've done. So Amanda, talk to us a little bit. Tell us a little bit about you and your family.
Okay. That's a fun thing to talk about. I will say you did stealthily come into the graduation ceremony. I didn't know you were there till after it was all over with. So I'm really glad your granddaughter did a great job, and she did get her black belt that day. So that was a
Hallelujah.
um, but to your point about being big and still maintaining quality, it's a real important thing for my family. The black belt means something, and it means something to the people who wear it. And so as hard as it is to have somebody not pass or not be prepared to pass or fail that day, it's so much more important to the people that went before them that earned it and got through it. And I've never had anybody quit because they failed a test. They just come back and work harder. And that's been my experience. So if there are people out there who are struggling with that particular emotion of having to fail people, it's always better to do that and then watch them work harder and achieve it, and they're so much prouder of themselves too. So, and it keeps the quality high, like you mentioned, in your school. So, but my family and I, my kids were 6 and 4 when we opened our studio here in Johnson City, Tennessee. We've been in business for about 22 years. I've been married for 32 years, been in business for 22 years. And I started training under my father down in Florida, and my mom and me and my brother, we all worked together all through my high school years in the academy that we had down in Florida. And it was just a really natural progression to come up here and start. And after college, both of my children, made the choice to continue working in the family business, and we enjoy working together and watching it grow. Absolutely.
Well, to the point, and I think it's very important that we touch on that point. Uh, it is good to fail sometimes. And the reason is because this is your growth point. Everything that I've ever accomplished or achieved are things that I failed at. And I was getting ready to give up. At that moment is when I became better. So I fell in my green belt test, and I thought that no one liked me, and I'm going to quit. And I remember I just started teaching the martial arts as a green belt, and I felt that everyone was against me, and I threw all my gear in my 1976 Camaro, Monte Carlo, give it a ride off in the sunset, never to come back to the martial arts school. And there was a young lady by the name of Emma Mitchell. She came to my car. She says, "So you're telling us that if we fail, that we should quit?" I became a leader at that moment. I looked at her and I said, "No." I had never won a martial arts trophy. As a green belt, I had lost every event that I actually went to. I went back there and something happened inside of me, and I won my first place trophy. So that is my story about quitting. And that story goes through all my life. Everything that I do is about growing from that. And this is what we're teaching, in the martial arts. So let's talk a little bit. I know that you're an author, and this is our author month, and we have recognized you as a martial arts author of the month. And so let's talk a little bit about your book, and then we'll get into your book and how it came about. So tell us, what is your book about?
So I have it here. I'll just hold it up so you can see. It's about creating a happy and harmonious home. And, being in martial arts, growing up in it, and then being able to, being blessed to be able to teach it as a career choice, I've had the opportunity to work with so many, many, many families. And it's, I like to think of the martial arts instructor as a very influential part of the village that a family can use to help raise a child, to help raise a teenager. All the things that they face, martial arts is one of the most powerful things that someone can do. Just like your story of, becoming a leader at that moment when you had a failure, you turned it around completely. And being able to see that day in and day out, year after year, and then having raised my children, I thought that I had some advice that I could give. And I just felt very compelled internally to help people outside of my studio. And, I'm only one person and there's only so many, days in the week. But I thought, well, if I write about these things, then somebody else who's going through the same thing with their child can hear that and see that it's going to be okay, and here's some tips and actual real advice that you can apply right away to help your child, whether it's confidence or discipline, or overconfidence, any of the things that, kids go through and parents go through. So that's why I started writing. And then eventually it started coming into, a book. I was writing articles and putting them together, giving them out and to my students, and then being able to put those into a book. I just realized that had to be the next natural step in the progression of what I was doing. So I started writing the book, and it's really this particular book is written to the younger families. There are a lot of tips in there about for teenagers, too, things that teenagers are going through. But it's for a new parent who's just trying to navigate these tricky waters of parenting, and like, is my kid normal? Is he supposed to be acting like this? Or, those kind of stories. Of course, a lot of people write in and ask questions at my askmastermom.com, and they can email me and ask a question. All of that's 100% convinced, I keep that information very, very private. But I will write about a story about a little boy or a young girl, that sort of thing, without putting any names in. But in that way, when people ask the questions and I write about it, I get so much positive feedback from, oh, thank you for writing that. We've been going through the same thing. And so it was a way for me as a martial arts instructor, by writing, to expand my influence outside of my school.
Well, that's really great. And it seems as if you've taken something that you've been passionate about. I could hear you talk about your family and growing up. Just from hearing that, I could hear a positive sound that you had a good childhood. And because that is a foundation, again, you guys are definitely a family-oriented school. And so you're taking that love and knowledge and about continuing to actually grow and develop not only your school family, but your relationship with your husband and your own family. So these are the key points that we're talking about. So if you have something that you are good at, that's your passion, then these are things that the rest of the world really would like to know. And this is the reason why you would become an author. And I put it in 3 different categories. Someone becomes an author because it's something they always wanted to do. They become an author because they wanted to support something else that they're doing, or they become an author because they want financial gains from the information that they actually have. So you could ask yourself, well, what category do I actually fit into? But there's also the byproduct benefit from doing that. And Amanda, I know you have your own television program in your community. Is that right?
Yeah, it's been very well received, and it's a weekly segment on our local TV station. It's about a 5-minute segment, and I get to talk about tips for parents and families, really just things straight from my book each week, and questions that people write in. They'll write in or call in questions, and I can give my experience and my perspective as somebody who's worked with children and families for over 30 years, on tips that they might do to help them.
Well, that's what we're really talking about, is when you start on a journey, other doors will open if you have a positive journey to be on. And I know we had talked a little while ago that you actually started the program before you actually finished the book. Is that correct?
Right. That's right. I was in the middle of writing the book and working on it, and I just knew that if I really wanted to get this message out, it was going to take more than one medium, to do that. And so, being in business here a while, I had some friends at the station, and just gave them my idea and see if there was something they thought that would work, and they liked it immediately. And we started, honestly, from the time I talked to them about it, it was about 2 weeks that we had the first episode. So it was really quick, and I was very nervous at the time, but now it's just very normal to get up there and talk with the host about parents and families. And really it's because of the positive impact and positive feedback in the community from that. You know, they've been enjoying it, and I've been enjoying communicating with them in a new way that I didn't set out to be on television, but just, I think, like you said, you have some positive message and people really want to hear some positive things in this world today. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Well, it's similar to my wife. She released her book, My Soul Cries Out, and her program is on one of the local radio stations. We're looking to now, one of the community networks are looking to host her Sunday services that she's actually doing, because people are looking for positive things that can support our community, that can make us better. And when you start on your journey of writing, you never know where it's really going to go. You begin that process, with the Who's Who books. 6 years ago, we didn't realize exactly where this was going, but it's going in a positive direction. This sort of on the spiritual side, when you're moving positive energy in a direction, these doors open up for you. And now you have a connection with a good friend of mine, Jeff Smith. So
Yes.
I understand that Jeff is one of your business, and Stephen Oliver, you guys are with those guys using their coaching and mentoring program.
Yeah, they've been extremely supportive of the Master Mom as it became created. She kind of created herself, once I look at her as, wow, what is she doing? And sometimes I forget that's what you're doing. So, but they've been very supportive of that. And yeah, Master Jeff Smith's been able to come out here to Johnson City a couple of times, and he's a great mentor and has lots of great advice on especially helping with the large school that we have, like you mentioned, keeping it tight and keeping the community and family oriented, and not letting just because you're big doesn't mean you can't communicate well with your students and train them well. And he's been a great resource for that. And of course, Master Stephen Oliver, he's a great business person, and he has a lot of really life-changing tips for martial arts school owners that can help you take your business to the next level. So it's nice to know when I met you too, that you knew them, and it's just a small world, and we're just all trying to make the world a better place as martial arts instructors. So it's a nice connection.
Well, I always tell my wife, you want to know how you're doing, check your 5 closest friends. So that's what, but on a serious note, this is what you have to do. You have to put yourself in an environment, a growth environment. If you are, it goes, as a martial artist, if we're doing the daily things, we can get burned out. I have a business coach. When I was running, I sold my school about 2 years ago, but I had a business coach. I had people that I could go to. We had a network of positive flow of energy. What can I do? So for my martial arts friends that are out there that are listening, I really do recommend that you find someone, if you want to be able to benefit your community. And this is what Amanda and her husband and her family are doing. They're benefiting the community, providing a place for people to come and know that they're going to get, the very best in the martial arts that they can receive. And the community has accepted them. Again, her book is her big business card. And that big business card is what opens the door for people to know more about you, and it builds on your credibility. So definitely recommend you find a mentor. We have Grandmaster Lawrence, author, business coach. We got Grandmaster Bill Clark out of Florida, business coach. Again, Grandmaster Jeff Smith, and he's one of the driving forces, along with Grandmaster Joe Corley, to help to create success in our Martial Arts Masters and Pioneers book. So I have coaches that are directing me. I don't do everything. I don't know everything. That's the reason why I have to surround myself with people that can support the effort that we're doing. So having a coach or a mentor, someone that can guide and direct you, is very important. So I recommend you doing that. There's a, MA Success magazine, subscribe to that. There's so many things you can do. Read, begin to educate yourself on how you can become better in the field that you are actually doing with what you do. Is there any information or that you feel would be good for parents? Fortunately, knock on wood, all my children are grown. Hallelujah. you know, I have grandkids, so maybe there's anything that you want to leave for us. We can always, that you would like to leave for us.
I think as far as leaving with you guys advice for parents, grandparents, or y'all like to include caregivers too, because there's so many
Yes.
different types of families. I think the biggest thing is just taking time to sit down and talk to each other, sit down, listen to each other, and let the children that are in your life know that you're not judging them, but you're guiding them, and you're listening, and you understand the struggles that they're going through, and you're there to support them and help them grow. I think that sometimes we do get really busy. We all do. But we have to make it a priority to have that family time, even if it's just one evening a week, to sit down and say, hey, let's talk about stuff, and how's it going at school, who are your friends, how's your sports going, all the different things that you do, and just be supportive and a good listener. I think that very simple thing can go a really long way in building communication and trust with your children.
Oh, great. And it's very important, our children, this is the future. If you want to do something with your kids, instead of sitting on the sideline, join a martial arts program. You and your son or daughter, I know my son and my daughter both are black belts, and that journey that we had of coming up together, that relationship is still very strong because we spent all that time together, of the discipline, the focus, the training, the tournaments, all those things we did together. That's still a very strong bond. So I really encourage you to find things that you can do with your kids that you can develop that strong bond. Again, martial arts is a great physical exercise program. Not only does it exercise your body, but the martial arts exercises your mind. And kids, when they're bored, nothing to do, finding a good martial arts instructor, a person. How do I find a good martial arts instructor? Well, number one, when you walk into someone's dojo, dojang, right away from meeting that person, you get an idea about that person and their program. You can always, email Amanda or call her or let her know. She can give you some advice. I can give you some advice. And then my telephone number is area code 919-618-8075. Our website is who's who in the martial arts.com. If you would like my support to assist you in making a decision whether or not you have a story, whether or not to publish your story, you can again email me at info@elitepublications.org, or go to our website, and that is www.elitepublications.org. Man, how do we get a copy of your book? In fact, great thing I'd like to be able to do, we didn't talk about this, but I know it should be okay with you. So anyone during this week of this broadcast or at any time, go to Amanda's website, order a book, and you'll sign it for them and ship it to them?
Oh, I'd be happy to do that. Absolutely. You can order it from Amazon. Amanda Olson, Master Mom. You can get it's on Kindle. It's also on Paperbook, and pretty soon it's going to be on iBooks. If you want to message me and get a signed copy directly from me, you can just email me at askmastermom.com. and I will be happy to sign one for you. I've got copies here, and I'll get it right out to you. I'd love to hear from you. You know, the people's stories and getting to know the people has been one of the great benefits of this program and outreach. You know, that's why I love being a martial arts instructor, is meeting all the people. And so just to be able to expand on that by meeting people outside of my community too is great. So I'd be happy to hear from you, and I'd be happy to sign a copy for you.
And that's great. And, you know, we have, again, we have our Martial Arts Masters and Pioneers book. This is the 2019 version of the book. And so, you know, give us a call. Go again at Amazon, Barnes and Noble, all the book outlets. You can order a copy online, or you can go to our website, which is who'swhointhemartialarts.com. Order a copy of the book. I'll sign it. I'll send it to you. Just let us know how we can support you. If you have questions about your martial arts program, looking for advice on getting a coach or getting involved in coaching, you know, I really would, you know, recommend, you know, Amanda's school to anyone that's thinking about getting involved in the martial arts, to bring their kids. Definitely a school to bring it to. If anyone is looking to grow your school, and you know, especially ladies out there that are, you know, starting their martial arts programs, I think, Amanda, you know, you'd be a great role model for that. And we need more role models in the martial arts. And everyone, this is Grandmaster Jesse Bowen. We're giving you a lot of information. We've introduced you to a great martial artist, a family-oriented school. We want your 2020 to be the very best year of all times. Check out her book. Don't forget to nominate your martial arts hero for the 2020 AMAA Legends Awards Banquet coming up in Vegas, and the new release of the Martial Arts Masters and Pioneers book. This year, we're going to be honoring Grandmaster Chuck Norris, so make sure you check it out. And Amanda, thank you again for being a part of our Martial Arts Authors Month.
Thank you so much for having me. Really great talking to you and hearing about your passion and your mission as well.
All right, great.